Hi, my name is Megan O'Connell, and I'm running for a seat on the Westford School Committee. I'd like to spend a few minutes and talk to you about a few things. First, I'd like to tell you about what my qualifications are. Second, I'd like to explain why I am running for a seat on the school committee. And third, I'd like to talk about what I would like to accomplish if, in fact, I am elected. Before I do all that, I would also like to point out that every voter matters in this election. The school committee race is not just important for people that have kids in school or who may have kids in school in the future. The school committee controls more than half of the town budget and is under pressure with inflation, underpaid teachers, and high administrative costs. Every taxpayer in town should be interested in who is on the school committee because the decisions of the school committee have the largest effect on increase in taxes. So back to what my qualifications are. I live in Westford with my spouse and my 6 school-aged children, 2 at WA, 2 at Blanchard, and 2 in Crisafulli. Up until 4 years ago, my spouse and I homeschooled all of our children, starting from when my oldest was kindergarten age until she was the age of a freshman in high school. Over those 8 years of homeschooling, we learned a tremendous amount about what it is actually like to run a school. Every year, and we were living in Arlington at the time, we had to create a year-long curriculum with details including topics, subjects, materials we would use, how we would measure the progress of our kids. At the end of every year, we had to submit reports to the superintendent. Those homeschool plans had to be approved every year, and we had to write a separate one for each of our children. As we did that over the years, we learned a lot about what it takes to put together a curriculum that covers a wide range of topics, but most importantly, what it takes to foster a love of learning in children and how to encourage them to learn, to explore, and to think on their own. I'm running this year to bring balance. We have enough people on the school committee with an education or a legal background. My background is in engineering, and I've worked in medical device and biotech companies for 30 years. The best way to sum up my professional experience is that I've learned to balance many competing needs and priorities, and to be practical, traits that are useful indeed on a school committee. I've also become an expert on risk management, also useful on a school committee. There's several things that I would like to accomplish if I am elected. First, we need to put the focus on education and helping each child to become the best version of themselves, how to learn and how to think critically. One of the biggest challenges that we're facing as a town now and in the future is financial pressure. We are all quite aware of the inflation that we've all experienced over the last year and a half, which hopefully will ease soon. We already know that as a town, we spend more than half of our budget on the schools. We also know that compared to all of our neighboring towns, our school budget spends a larger proportion on administration than all the towns around us. Further, we also know that our teachers are paid less than comparable school districts. We've also seen through different standardized test measures over the last few years that, especially after COVID hit, and scores throughout the state suffered no doubt in COVID, but if you look at how much scores in Westford have suffered compared to comparable school districts, there has been more of a decline here in Westford. So you put all that together. You put teachers that are underpaid compared to comparable school districts, students that have regressed more than comparable school districts, and a school budget that already pays more on administration than neighboring districts. And what you're faced with is a crisis about how to get things back on track academically, how to attract and retain top-notch teachers, and doing all this without overburdening those people here in town that are on limited or fixed incomes. The last thing that we can afford to do with the town is to mismanage our finances and have to go back to the citizens and ask for more money. We all live under the constraints of Proposition 2.5, and I say thankfully because it causes us as a town to really focus on where we can spend our resources wisely. It's a long-term goal, but I think we need to set a goal to reduce the percentage of our school budget that is spent on administration and move it back towards the teachers, where it can have more direct impact on our children. So I ask for your vote tomorrow, May 2nd. I know not everyone will vote for me. Maybe most people won't vote for me, and that's okay. I'm not trying to be all things to all people. I am here to be a voice of truth, a voice of reason, and a voice of balance. If you believe in those things, if you believe in truth and reason and balance, then I ask you to consider voting for me, Megan O'Connell, tomorrow, May 2nd. Thank you.